The Samuna Casey Podcast, a podcast on personal branding. Executive producer, Samuna Casey.
We record our episode in advance. So by the time you listen to this episode, it might be end of July or something. What I wish is by that time, the situation in Nepal would be a little bit better in terms of COVID and a second wave, all the medical and other difficulties that we are having. I hope you are keeping social distance, washing your hands, sanitizing your hands. We are all fighting with this invisible and lethal enemy. We feel really helpless many times. We are losing a lot of people, a lot of loved ones. I would like to take this moment to acknowledge the fact that this situation is, how hard everything is. I try to address these issues with friends, with you in the podcast, in social medias and stuff like that. It's hard. We all are doing our best to stay productive, to do what we can do our work, take care of ourselves and families, and doing our best. But then I also would like to acknowledge the fact that the lockdown fatigue, the isolation fatigue is real. If you are feeling unmotivated to create something, do your work, or do what's necessary, then it's absolutely okay. Because the energy of the whole world is down right now. This is a global pandemic, global event that's causing everyone around the world to slow down, take a time, take care of health, take care of loved ones, and stay connected, even if it's only digitally, virtually. So talking about staying connected virtually, while we try to stay connected virtually on websites, social media, and other digital mediums, there's always this threat of some hacking, attacking. Every other day I hear from friends their social media is being hacked, websites being attacked. People are getting scammed on emails. So in today's episode, we are talking with a cybersecurity engineer and a dear friend. If you have listened to our episode on how to make your first $50 on Fiverr, you know him. But I'll take a little bit time to introduce this person. We are going to talk about some digital well-being and cybersecurity, how you can stay safe on digital space. In other words, today we are talking about digital sanitization and social distancing. Are you waiting for a light bulb moment or an apple to fall into your head so that you can get all the answers? Hanuman, a character in Hindu mythology, was cursed and forgot who he was until someone reminded him of his own powers. We are the Hanumans of 21st century. Seldom anyone reminds us of our powers and we rarely believe in them. This podcast is a weekly reminder that you better believe that you are enough, you are capable, you belong, and you are a personal brand. I am Samuna Casey, and please subscribe to the Samuna Casey podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast platform. If you want to discover and develop one variable that is under your control and that can make or break your business, career, or life as a whole, a personal brand. Anurag Adhikari is a household name in this podcast, and the person who actually created the website page already been a guest before, and he's here again to talk about something that he is more passionate about and expert in. Anurag Adhikari, welcome to the show again.
Thank you, Samunaji.
Have you listened to our past episode together?
Yes, I did.
How do you like it?
I loved the coordination we had in between, so I think this is going to be as good as the older episode as well.
Yes, that's why you are back. You did good last time. Good job.
I'd like to thank you.
Good job. Okay. So yeah, without any further ado, let's talk about how is the situation in Nepal. Yeah, I would like to start with that right now.
As per my view, I'm just staying at home and working from home. But by seeing the news every single day, We can see that cases are being, a bit declining at this certain point of day, but like, it's still high, and the recovery rate is also getting better, but because there are not so many medical facilities available like oxygen cylinders and all of that, so like people are facing lots of trouble. I think that is the reason people are facing so many, casualties per day. Yeah, that's basically what the condition of Nepal is right now. We're trying to be safe working from home at this moment of time.
Okay, so now, as said in the beginning, we're talking about digital social distancing and digital sanitization. How do you find the correlation between physical social distancing and digital social distancing?
So they're somewhat like, even though they're like different literally, but as we act practically, I think they're like somewhat similar. So, like, for example, while we try to maintain distance between people we don't know, we try to be with our people at home, right? We are close to them at this time because we are trying to connect with them. In the past, time, we were actually busy going to our offices, going outside, and all of that. But right now, it's the time we are very close to our families and all of that. But we are apart from people we don't know. So it's the same, like, as in the context of being digital. So what happens is we try to be, close to the people we know on social media, or maybe the websites we already know of. But like, we have to maintain some distance between the unknown websites, the unknown things we don't know yet. Yeah, so distancing does matter here in digital
Right.
world.
We'll come back to sanitization. What would you say other ways to keep a social distance from being harmed on digital space?
Okay, so I'd like to give some instances where people are likely to not be, likely to jump into, being close to things they are not supposed to. Like,
Getting into trouble, where
yes,
we are
exactly.
likely to get
Yes.
into trouble. Yeah.
So what happens is we see lots of emails, right, where like people like giving out links where they give out free stuff, right? Like, it's a everyday thing we see on our emails, and while our email providers or email clients are doing their best job to send those emails to the spam folder, some emails do not get filtered because they seem genuine. Attackers are actually getting better. Yes.
Smart.
Yeah, so like the spam filter is getting better, and then the attackers are getting better. So the cycle goes on, and then definitely you might see one of those emails in your inbox, and then those emails are designed in such a way that you are psychologically, motivated to, click and then get inside, and then increases your curiosity so that you want those things, like, for example, who doesn't want a new iPhone, right? So if someone is trying to send you a free iPhone, why not? Like, if the email is very like genuine,
Looks
or
genuine.
like
Yeah,
from
yeah. It's
yeah,
about building
exactly.
trust. It's about they are like good at building trust. Looks like online. So how
Yes.
do you think we are talking about like email scams, right? We'll go back social media hacking and website security, but then we are right now talking about email scams. So how do you judge the email if it's a scam?
So basically, like, what we can do to, like, find if the email is actually valid or not, you could actually search the domain of where the email is coming from. For example, if the email is coming from some Gmail account, so we can know that anyone can, like, create a Gmail account. So that's one thing where we can like find out that if the email used is from a legitimate company or not. Like, there's the first point what we need to notice. And then even if the website is like some xyz.com, then we need to find if the website is authentic or not. We might want to check if
Right.
xyz.com exists, and then if xyz does have a good reputation as well. So these two basic things are actually going to help you a lot.
Right. I would
And
like to
then,
add to the, sorry to interrupt. I would like to add to this because what I do is whenever I get email, the way you said, I check the domain and also I check if they have similar offers in different domain,
yes,
different
yes,
places.
yes,
right? If they have only one offer for you, they are offering iPhone 12 just to you in one place, red flag.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. We could like also, apart from the checking these domains and the offers they have, what we can also do is check the grammar of these emails, because like some
Yes.
attackers, they just try to upload a template. Their grammar is not correct. But if these companies are big enough to give you an iPhone, then definitely they should have some good communication skills, some good grammatical implementations. Yeah, definitely these things should be there. If we see some typos, then we should definitely think that there's something wrong with this. We could also check the links that have been provided. Like for example, if Google is sending you something, then the link should also be linked to Google, right? The link that they have provided there. What will happen is they will hide the links inside some, like, click here. There's a button or a hyperlink that says click here. So what they do is they hide their malicious links inside those hrefs or links, so that we don't know what's inside there. So one like tip to know what's in there is just by hovering your mouse over the link, you could see that where the link is coming from, like the original link of the one they have actually attached. Also what they do is they just type in, like, www.google.com/ something, and then we think that this is from Google, but no, like, there's something hidden there as well. So we need to just drag and hover over the link so that we can see the original
Right.
link where it's pointing to.
Before typing.
Yes.
Yeah, before moving on to the
Yes.
website, we can just hover our mouse and then check if it's
Yes.
genuine. As you said, when we were planning this episode, Anurag said it's really hard to talk about it in half an hour. So I can see there's a lot to do. We might even want to do the part 2 series of this episode. You listening, if you think you want to know more about cybersecurity, how you can stay safe in the cyberspace, let us know. And then we will make the part 2 of it in way more detail. I would like to move on to social media hacking, because I've been getting a lot of messages, and I also see on social media like people are saying my account has been hacked. A lot of wrong messages are coming from their account. So how to stay safe from social media hackers?
The first thing is we might want to limit ourselves to where we input our information. First example is we tend to use the same passwords all over, like, different social medias and
Just like
different
me.
websites. There is like one thing we should not do if the context is very sensitive. Like if you are handling a big social media account, you might want to choose a password that is more than 10 characters long. Number one, has like uppercase, lowercase, some special characters and some numbers in it. And then what we need to actually make some changes is we need to turn on the two-factor authentication, which is actually available in most of the social medias. Like out of 10, I think like 9 of them have it. The sites where you actually register, they definitely have the 2FA option. You might want to enroll into 2FA because, like, even if someone guesses your password right, they do not have your phone or the 2FA, the two-factor authentication. They are not able to log in, and then you will also get a message that your account was logged in at this time, and then they were not able to log in because of the two-factor authentication. So these things could definitely stop something. And then one tip is, what people do is they tend to allow permissions to different applications. Like we use different kinds of applications all over Facebook, right? Like some wow app or something like that, yeah. So some of these applications, like before Facebook didn't have some security features for those applications, they used to actually take over your account and then send messages, like, you must have seen people sending over like videos to all their, like, contacts over Facebook, right? These things are actually happening because we do not like know what the application is up to. We do not like see what permissions we give them. So we need to first check on what permissions we are authorizing these applications. Also on Instagram, what some people do is they try to use some applications such as followers and all of that to track their followers as well. They do not exactly know which application they should use, because like they might be able to track your information, they might be able to hijack your account because they have your credentials as well, right? We need to check the reviews of these applications before, like if we must access these applications, we must like see the reviews of these applications and then only use them.
Right. It's about taking care of your curiosity, taking care of your greed, doing your due diligence, being aware like what apps I'm using, what information I'm giving in, keeping social distancing from that. Moving on to websites. One question we hear from our clients all the time when we do digital marketing, web designing, consulting, and then when it comes to cybersecurity, they ask like, "Why do I need cybersecurity?" So, what would you like to say on that?
First of all, like this thing called like when people do not like face the consequences, they do not like know what they are. Because I like work with so many clients based on security as well, and then like most of them at first when they are like developing the website, what they do is they do not care about security, because they think that security is one major overhead for the financial budget, and they do not consider adding it. And then when they face the consequences created by security, that is like when some hacker tries to access the site, what happens is hackers have a script or some automated tool that can actually go through lots of websites at once, and then they see which websites are vulnerable, and then they make a list of it, and then they attack it. They are able to get control of your website, and then they use your website for the phishing. The one that I explained earlier, the email one, they might be using your website for a like fake phishing email. They might be linking something there. It's not what they own, but they are actually mitigating the risk to us, because that is not the site they own. That is the site we own. So these things happen.
Yes, I was always curious. Like, if some website has a massive traffic, then they want to hack it, I would understand. And I had this hard time understanding, like, why would someone hack a website which we are just building and we haven't even started getting traffic into it? Then why would they hack it? You just answered it because they use it to do the phishing, and then they use our website even if there's not a lot of traffic. They can misuse our domain, use for their scamming purpose. So is it when sometime we see this sign on our website like not secure? What does that mean?
Basically, when we see a not secure on the browser, the lock pad of the browser beside the address bar, what happens is there's this thing called SSL. So SSL is something that creates a encrypted meaning. I'm just going to explain it in simple terms. I'm just not going into like deep stuff here. So what happens is it turns it into something that is not understandable by someone who is in between the server and the client. So for example, there is SSL, and then what happens is when you try to enter some credit card information, for example, the credit card information, while you enter it, it gets encrypted into some vague numbers or vague characters, so that the person who is trying to listen to your messages in between, they cannot understand what it is, because the server will only have the private key to decrypt the message and then read it. While this happens, SSL does not necessarily mean we are secure or not secure, because like to those sites where we don't have to like enter information, there's nothing to be worried about. But for those sites where we need to enter information, yeah, definitely we need to be careful about. But one thing to keep in mind is, while SSL exists in phishing sites as well, since the phishing server is also owned by the hacker, right, they are able to decrypt any messages. So we need to be careful by looking at the addresses we are actually entering. Like for example, we have facebook.com, right? What they do is they try to trick us by making like similar names such as Facebook, like fcaebook.com and faceb0ok.com. 0 and O does seem similar, right? So we do not notice that, and then we fall into the trap. While like the SSL is still enabled. Like we see the lock, our connection is secure. We don't like care. Like SSL does not necessarily mean we are secure. So we need to be very careful on where we enter the information.
So moving on to, you mentioned about credit card, debit cards. How to stay secure financially, our card information stays secure, how to make sure that we stay secure financially on digital spaces.
So what I would suggest is I would suggest not to store your passwords or your credit card informations on your browser or somewhere else, because like that's stored somewhere, right? But you already have your cards physically, right? So you definitely know what there to input. So I suggest not to, save these information in your browser. But like I understand, like because
It's
some,
easy.
yeah, it's easy, and then
Yeah.
it's hard to like remember as well. While our account or something is not, compromised, our laptops are not compromised, we are like still safe to like store passwords. But still, like there's one more layer of security if we do that, like by not storing passwords into Chrome or like, stuff like that.
And even if you store your credit card details, because that's what I usually do and most of us do, because it's easy to remember and there are some sites that we do trust. And then we have multiple cards for different purposes. But then what I usually practice is I try to change my card every 6 months to year. And when I do that, when I change my card, then that's when all the information has changed. The sites, they had my information before, they don't know and they don't have the details, then I get notification to update my card information. And then I say, when did I give you that information? That's when I know my card has been being misused, my information has been misused. But then if I change my card every 6 months to 1 year, and that's one way I try to stay safe from digital infection and for digital social distancing and digital sanitization. Anurag, thank you so much. We are almost at the end of the episode. Before we go, I would love you to share your Hanuman moment with us. Hanuman moment is, as I say in the beginning of the podcast, we are the Hanumans of 21st century and no one reminds us of our powers. Even if somebody does, we don't believe in them. But then these Hanuman moments are the moments of resilience, when you thought you were not good enough and then you did something, somebody came into your life, some incident happened, and then you came out strong at the other end. So we try to share these moments on every episode. Sometimes it's mine, sometimes it's the guest moment. So today, Anurag, please share your Hanuman moment with
Okay,
us.
so like this is very interesting. So what happened is, while I was in class 11, I did not have internet in my home, because like 11 and 12 were some like, very serious courses, grades that our parents thought of. They decided not to give me some internet access, so I was not able to access any internet at the time. But I didn't have a laptop either that time. But what happened is, one of my far cousins, his laptop was not like, working, and then he brought the laptop to me to fix it. What happened is, he was going to far eastern side of Nepal, and then he left the laptop at home. I got that opportunity to install Kali Linux. At that time, it was Backtrack. It is an operating system that you use to hack, like it's a primary, workstation OS of ethical hacker. I just went to the cyber. There used to be cyber cafes where internet was accessible. I used to go there. I used to download all the videos related to Wi-Fi hacking. And then what I used to do was I used to practice that on that laptop after I fixed it. Eventually, I got to know all of the neighbors' passwords within a month. That led me interested towards cybersecurity and things. And though that was not ethical at that time, I understood what it meant later, and then I never did those things again. But like, yeah, that was my Hanuman moment.
Wow, that was really powerful Hanuman moment. You really figured something about yourself that you didn't know before. All right, thank you Anurag for your time from your busy schedule, your work. You shared some very valuable information with us on email scamming, website security, social media hacking. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope to have this session again. It seems like very important. And then we have more details to share. So thank you so much for your time today.
Sure. Like I like to thank you as well for inviting me here again, and then helping me to share these things among people who really want to be secure on the internet at this time.
And I can hear you are very passionate about the topic.
Yes, because my on one moment.
Yes, you should definitely create something regularly on these. I always suggest people to create consistent content on social media on the topics you are interested in. So I suggest same thing to you, and I'll connect with you again. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
So there you have it. That was our show for today. I've learned a lot from today's episode. I thought I was doing all the secure activities on social media and internet. I was doing most of them, but then some of them I was not. So it was good to learn. I hope you have learned something from today's episode too. If you did and liked today's episode, then share it with a friend who might find this helpful too. Also, rate, review, and subscribe to the Samuna Kesi podcast on Apple Podcasts or any other favorite podcast app of yours where they play finest podcasts. And if you are listening to this on samunakesi.com, do not forget to leave your reviews down below. Any links that Anurag has mentioned in the show, we will link it in the show note. Show note again is available on samunakesi.com. Please don't forget to check our services at getbrandedglobal.com. I'll see you in the next episode. Namaste.